Today we are making this here chunky hat. It's super quick to make because it only has 6 rows of crochet. The hat is an average women's size and it has 2 pieces that are alike that you then just crochet together after you have finished the pieces. So let's see how we make it. The yarn for this needs to be super bulky. Or you can create chunky wool by using several yarns together. I have 4 here. And I was using a hook size 8 millimeters. To get the right size with the same amount of stitches, you would need to use a hook that creates the same tension. For 10 centimeters or 4 inches, you need to have only 8 stitches. And 1 row of what we are going to do, which is 2 double crochets at the same time, is 4.5 centimeters, or a little bit less than 2 inches. This here is 1 row. Let's start. First a slip knot, whichever way you like to make it, and then we chain 27 and don't chain tightly. 27. Here's 27, and now we're starting the stitch we are going to use for most of this, 2 double crochets at the same time, or sometimes called linked double crochets, very high stitches. Yarn over and insert the hook into the 3rd stitch from the hook, but don't pull up a loop. Leave the yarn going over the hook, and then we insert the hook into the 3rd stitch again, but we will insert it into the back bump, so turn the stitch slightly. The reason to do this is to give us a neater starting edge. So insert into the back bump. There. And pull up a loop. So now we have altogether 5 loops on the hook. And then we work just as if it was just double crochets each time through 2. So yarn over and through 2 loops each time. So we can see that already that it's going to grow very, very fast. And then another one, yarn over, and in the middle here you see this stitch going sideways. We are not inserting the hook into that, but in the one right next to it, sort of behind it. And again allow the yarn to be over the hook, and in the next chain in the back bump. This splits a bit, so it's a bit hard to get. And there. And again yarn over and always through 2 loops, and this is what we simply repeat. I'll do it another time. Yarn over, this here stitch next to that stitch that goes sideways, leave the yarn there, and in the back bump of the next chain, and finishing off the stitch, and all the time don't crochet tightly here. So now we can see how it's starting to build up. And simply continue like this until the end of your chain. Here's this whole row, so it really looks like 2 rows of double crochets. And then we'll do another one, chain 5, 5, and start in a similar way, yarn over, and insert the hook in the 3rd stitch, and at this stage turn and leave the yarn on the hook and insert it in that very first stitch, and again the same thing. And continue like this. After you get used to it, it goes really fast. And finish this row and then do 2 more. So we'll have 4 rows like this here. So now I have 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the last 2 rows, we need to taper the tops a bit like this here. And it's easier to do if we don't do this very high row, but we'll only do an ordinary double crochet. And I'm starting with just chaining 2. And then 2 double crochets together, but in such a way that after you have the yarn over and insert the hook and pull up the loop, then do that straight away again. So 2 together in this way, and then yarn over and through 3 of them, and then another one. So that starts going a bit like that way. And then go to the other end just with ordinary double crochets. And then go close to the other end, and then we'll look at it there. And we stop when there's 3 stitches left at the end of the row. And again, crochet 2 together. This one and that one, and just leave the last one and pull through 3 of them, and then that there. And then we do the same once more. Chain 2, turn, and insert the hook not in that same one but the next one, and then a loop in the next one as well. Yarn over and through 3 loops and finish it off, and then again crochet to the other end until you have 3 stitches left. So there's 3 now, this and that, and then there's this chain that we made while decreasing. So I'll do this one and the next one and leave the rest and just finishing those off. So that's it. That's the first part done. And then just crochet another one exactly like this one. And after you have done that, finish off the yarn ends before we join the 2 pieces. Now I have the 2 pieces, and then we are going to crochet them together from the outside so that the seam shows clearly. And I'm going to use a different color yarn, but you can of course use the same one as well. So put the pieces together with wrong sides facing, and there is hardly any difference between the right and the wrong side here. The only one is that from the right side I like the stitches in the beginning of the hat piece turning slightly outwards like this here, so you see it more on both sides. So I have put them like that there. I used long pins to put the corners together, so you can do that or just keep them together as you go. So starting here and just insert the hook into the stitches and pull the yarn through. And for the first stitch I'm using both strands for the stitch so it stays together better, like that. And then what we do, we simply crochet these 2 pieces together using single crochets. So I'm not even going to count how many stitches I need, I just put it where it seems natural to have the next stitch. And it's good not to have too many stitches because then it starts to sort of curl. So and there. I'm inserting the hook into the chain or stitch there instead of putting it underneath it like I did with the first stitch. So continue like this here, always the hook through both of the pieces and then a single crochet. And we'll look at that corner then when you get to it. I'm at this corner now, first bit of it, and I have one stitch done there, but I'll actually do 3 stitches in that same stitch, because then that sort of shows off the corner more like that there. So there's 3 stitches here at the corner, and then just continue, and then there's the other where it turns right after, so again 3 stitches there. So that's it there. I have 3 stitches in this here. And now this is then the top of the hat, and now it's a little bit different because we have the stitches that we finished with there, and I'm going to crochet those so that I only take the one that's closest to me. Now that depends a bit which way you crochet, so but take the stitches that are closest to you, not both of them. I mean, not both loops of the stitch, because then that can become sort of too thick. So just one loop of each side for each stitch right across this here top. Now if whatever way you decreased there, if you don't have exactly the same number of stitches, then just skip one. I'm not one for exactness in anything, so like this to the next corner, and then just continue and do the other side exactly the same. 3 stitches there, 3 there, and then continue till the end. So here we are. When you come to the end and have done the last stitch, never pull the yarn end straight out like this here, but always make one chain and pull that out, so it's much stronger, the finish. So that's it finished. That's quite quick, so you can make many different colors for yourself, or make one for the whole family if you have a family, or it's also a great gift for Christmas. Or you could also use chunky wool to make this here headband. Check out this video. Until next time.